It's been a while, so I figured I'd make another video showing, I guess the best way to put it is my very cheap midlife crisis. And here it is. 1976 Triumph Spitfire. Nice gentleman I bought it from. Fortunately, it was pretty close to home, so it was fairly cheap tow to get her home. The brakes were all seized up when I got it. He said he hadn't driven it or even started it in 20 years. And actually, it was pretty easy to get started. Probably took me about an hour just making sure everything wasn't frozen, the carburetor was cleaned out, etc. He said he was having clutch problems with it. Clutch was working great when I got it. Come to find out, either he didn't quite know about cars or he might have been joshing me, but he was such a nice guy, so I just don't think he quite knew what to expect with this. Because when I drove it up the street for the first time, the transmission was just making horrible noises. And as you can see with the transmission disassembled, this is what's left of the input shaft bearing. As you can see, all the BBs are gone. Here's the inner race for it, stuck on the input shaft. Isn't that nice? I actually ordered the puller to get that off. Hopefully I can get that off, because it's going to be near impossible to find a new replacement input shaft from what I've looked at. Funny thing is, the SIR clip that everybody talks about being missing or broken was actually still in place. My guess is the guy probably just ran it without oil at one time or another, ground that bearing down to nothing, and then kept driving it. The drain plug with the magnet looked like a porcupine when I pulled it out, so pretty interesting. But it looks like I can rebuild the transmission, thankfully, because I'm on a very tight budget with this. Only paid $700 for the car, which, in my opinion, is a pretty darn good deal. Nice part is it actually came with a halfway decent convertible top. I'm not quite sure if this is the original top or not. As bad as these back windows are, could quite possibly be the original soft top. But it also came with factory hardtop. Not sure if this went to a hailstorm or somebody rained BBs down on it, but that paint's pretty well knackered, as well as the rest of the car. I wish it would have been stored inside a bit more. Pretty low mileage, but it looks like the fella who drove it before parked it under a tree, and sap really did a number on the paint. Besides that, the rest of the car looks pretty good. Not quite sure about these Carroll Shelby racing wheels, but I guess they're better than factory. And being a 76, I think this was right in between strikes, so I think the guys at British Leyland actually cared a bit when they put this one together, thankfully. Pretty low mileage. I know it's not a Jeep or a Trooper or anything like I normally talk about, but maybe it's a midlife crisis, who knows. Guess that's all I have to say about it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about anything, happy to answer. Hopefully I can give clarification about some of the things if anybody has questions. No, this isn't my first Triumph. I've had two TR7s in the past. Also had an Alfa Romeo Spider, so fairly familiar with these small European sports cars, I guess you could call them. Yeah, this one still has the original Zenith Stromberg, works great. And no, I'm not going to put a Weber on this, in case you ask. I'm actually a fan of the Zenith Strombergs when they're done right. And I think it just adds to the originality of the car. But, thanks for watching, and good day to you.